Dave Unger. I'm the Executive Director of the Council of Neighbors and Organizations. Our President of our board is going to walk through the door here in a minute, Rick Hoover, and one of our other board members is Grant Smith. And I think I have, if I missed another board member, if I have, I'm done. And then we have some members of our staff here, Sarah Poe standing in the back. She's going to be taking this, as everybody knows. And let's see, we've got Alex beside her, who's one of our interns, and Robert Davis, who's with us as a volunteer, probably volunteering more than he anticipated. But anyway, we're glad to have them all here, and glad to have you all here. Just wanted to say that next week, please come out also. Hey Jim, how are you? And listen to Henry Yankowski, the County Administrator. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And also to Jeff Green, who is the Chief of Staff to the Mayor and the Chief Administrative Officer for the city. Did I get that right?
I don't think we ever call him the second, but
okay.
I think that's a factual reality.
Okay. and please come out, same time, same place, same sorts of things. We have to say thank you to Griffith's Blessing for their financial help with this, to Einstein Bagels for their in-kind contribution of the bagels, and finally to one of our urban farms, Prospect Farms, who's brought 2 loaves of breakfast bread this morning.
And we have a pumpkin spice bread and also zucchini bread with some sour grape jelly from historic Venetian Village grapes back when it was an Italian neighborhood. Still a lot of grapes growing around there. I just want to say thank you to Dave and thank you to Sarah for opening up this space to humanize the political process and all the work that you do in organizing people in their neighborhoods. It's really incredible. And I know we're certainly inspired by it in the Venetian Village. Just work like that is not possible without the support of communities.
Thank you very much. We will get you your check.
Just for the board.
And come on in, ladies. Hi, Angela. There are a couple seats right over in this area, and we can get a couple more for you in a minute.
I'm gonna be rude and walk in front of you, I'm
You
sorry.
right ahead.
Sorry.
Right ahead. So, Mayor John Suthers is with us today. He's going to talk for about 20 minutes, starting on a little bit of the history of his position, major issues as he sees them, the overall vision for the city, his overall vision for the city, and his view of the opportunities, and also tell us a little bit about what he's most passionate about with regard to the city, I'm sure. And then after about 20 minutes, we'll open up for questions and comments, and glad to have you all here. So,
thank you,
Mayor
Dave.
Suthers.
I appreciate it very much. Thanks to all of you for rousting yourself out of bed so early and getting down here. Appreciate it very much. For those of you who have lived in Colorado Springs for a while, you understand that the form of government in the city of Colorado Springs has evolved. For the vast majority of our history, Colorado Springs was founded in 1871. We elected strong mayors for some period of time to the extent that they were truly strong mayors. But for most of our history, we had a city manager form of government, where up until 1979, the city council would be elected by the voters. The city council would then appoint one of their own as the mayor, and the mayor would be the chairman of the city council and also handle the ceremonial duties of the mayor. Beginning in 1979, we changed the city charter where we would elect the mayor, but the mayor wouldn't have any additional powers. They would still be the chairman of the city council, and they would handle ceremonial duties. The first elected mayor was Bob Isaac, and he remained the mayor for quite some time, I think 18 years, something like that. But with the ability to be elected, certainly the mayor had a bigger platform when they're elected by the voters than simply appointed by the other council members. But in 2011, the voters again changed the charter to create what's called a strong mayor form of government, where the voters elect the mayor. The mayor is the CEO, if you will, of the executive branch and runs the day-to-day business of the city of Colorado Springs and is not a member of the council. The reality, folks, is that most large cities eventually become strong mayor forms of government. And if you look at it historically, once a city hits 300,000 or 400,000 people, they typically soon thereafter move towards a strong mayor. Why is that? I think, and the perception is, that as a city gets larger, it sometimes is more difficult to get the kind of consensus that's needed to move forward in a council manager form of government. And that with a strong mayor form of government, you can have a mayor run for office, talk about what they think the priorities are, what sorts of vision the mayor has, and then the voters decide, well, this is the direction I think our city ought to go. Once elected, that person has a bit of a platform with the council to say, hey, the voters elected me because this is the direction they want to go. On the scale of 1 to 10 in terms of strong mayors, we certainly do not have the strongest mayor form of government. You want probably the strongest mayor situation would be in Denver, where the council is basically engages in land use, constituent work, but has very little say in the budget and very little say in appointments and things like that. Our council still has a lot of say in the budget, appoints a lot of the positions and things like that. But in any event, when I ran for mayor in 2015, I was pretty clear about what I thought needed to happen. And it wasn't any kind of great revelation on high. It was a matter of just observing what over the last previous 15 years had appeared to be some of the issues. One of the issues was the political climate. With our first strong mayor in 2011, for the next several years, there was an awful lot of tension between the mayor and the council, which I think the perception was it was not allowing the city to move ahead with some important issues, particularly infrastructure and others that it needed to move ahead on. And the other problem, frankly, what we realize today is that the political climate has a lot to do with how you're perceived in terms of your economic development climate. I can tell you firsthand that a lot of the companies we talk to that are thinking about expanding in Colorado Springs, thinking about moving to Colorado Springs, pay a great deal of attention to the political climate. So that was one thing I was intent on doing, is spending more time with the council. We're not always going to agree on everything, but we need to have a respectful relationship and build a consensus on some of the most important issues. Secondly, of course, was in fact our infrastructure issues. For a variety of reasons, not the least of which was the greatest recession since the Depression, Colorado Springs had drastically cut public works spending. Whereas public works was about 20% of our budget in 2000, by 2015 it was about 10% of our budget, and it showed. Our roads were in terrible condition. About 60% of our roads were past the normal lifespan of a road, which is about 10 years. It degrades very slowly and then it drops off very quickly. A large percentage of our roads were past that point, and that's where potholes come from. And we had a lingering legal problem with stormwater. The voters as a result of very serious flooding incidents in the 1990s, including an incident in which hundreds of thousands of gallons of raw sewage went down Fountain Creek, the city council and the mayor in 2003, that caused us to be sued, by the way, by the Colorado Department of Health, and the utilities spent $180 million fixing that problem. As a result of that, in 2004, I think, the council created a stormwater enterprise, which virtually every large city has, a fee based on the impervious surface that you have on your property, your sidewalks, your roof, all that sort of thing. And that was to collect about $16 million a year to be utilized for stormwater program and stormwater infrastructure. But a short 4 years later, in 2009, the voters did away with it. Doug Bruce ran a campaign against it, calling a rain tax, and frankly, the city council did not do a very good job of educating the voters about what a stormwater fee was. The voters did away with it. And that created a problem because in 2008, the utilities department had gone to Pueblo to get what's called a 1041 permit, their permission to build the Southern Delivery System across Pueblo County. The Southern Delivery System is this massive water distribution system that we've just completed that can pump up to 50 million gallons a day to Colorado Springs. And it will supply our water needs for the next 40 to 50 years of growth. Well, when we did away with the stormwater fee, Pueblo's contention was you violated our 1041 permit because you promised to have a viable stormwater system, and now you do not. Also, the EPA had come along and said, you are now, since you did away with the system, you're only spending about $3 million a year in stormwater. It's grossly inadequate. We're going to sue you. And I got that news as well as a notice of intent to sue from Pueblo the day after I took office. So I knew we had a stormwater issue. So we've spent an awful lot of time dealing with those issues, and I think we've made an incredible amount of progress. The voters stepped up with 2C. We're spending $50 million a year average over the next 5 years on roads. Before the paving shuts down at the end of this month, we will have paved about 220 miles, lane miles, used about 170,000 tons of asphalt, and hopefully you can see some of the main arterials being fixed for the first time in a long time. Stormwater, in order to avoid a lawsuit that could potentially shut down the Southern Delivery System, which needed to be turned on April 28th of 2016, and if we did not turn it on, the warranties on this almost $1 billion investment would still have begun to run. So we entered into an intergovernmental agreement where we agreed to spend $460 million over the next 20 years on stormwater programming and infrastructure. About 380 of that will come from the city of Colorado Springs, and 80 million will come from Colorado Springs Utilities. And then finally, for the 15 years between 2000 and 2015, we had kind of an interesting economic issue. There had been virtually no job growth. We had added some jobs, but essentially they were simply replacing a lot of the jobs we lost in the late 90s and early 2000s, which, as you know, many of them were relatively high-paying, high-tech manufacturing jobs, the Hewlett-Packards, the Intels, the Texas Instruments, and things like that. And we were replacing them with lower-paying jobs for the most part. So there's virtually no job growth, virtually no wage growth. We did not participate in the energy boom, which was a big part of the growth of northern Colorado. Economic stimulus, creating, government doesn't create jobs, but government can contribute to an environment that makes job creation, facilitates job creation. So that was also a big emphasis of mine. And so far, so good. We're taking advantage of a good economic situation. We have grown faster than Denver for 3 quarters in a row now for the first time in a long, long time. We created 9,000 new jobs last year. That's many, many more than we had in any year in the last 15. And oh, by the way, even though that slow growth took place over 15 years, the economic growth, we added over 100,000 citizens. And you say, well, how do you have no job growth and add 100,000 people? Most of them were retirees during that period of time. So we needed to create opportunities for our kids and grandchildren also. And I think you folks are well engaged in the community. You know some of the things going on economically. Our airport, particularly our general aviation side, is creating a lot of manufacturing jobs out there. We've brought a lot of companies from California and other places, some pretty high-paying manufacturing-related jobs. The general aviation side is booming. The additional revenue we're gathering from those, from that commercial aeronautical zone we created, is allowing us to reduce the cost to the commercial carriers, and that's what's brought Frontier Airlines back to town. That's what's caused American to put bigger planes and planes to Dallas and things like that. So for the first time in 20 years, we're actually seeing increases in employments. Last year we had 600,000 employments. This year will be 650. Even if we got no additional commercial destinations, we'd go to 750 next year. But we think we're going to. We think when we inaugurate the Frontier flight daily to Orlando on October 31st, they'll probably announce another couple of destinations. The downtown area with the Catalyst campus, the prospect of the Olympic Museum down here. We've got close to the lowest vacancy rate we've had downtown in a long time in terms of businesses, and that's spurring residential development. You know, there's several residential developments coming out of the ground in the downtown area over the next couple of years. And by the way, of our job openings in Colorado Springs, lest you think these are, you know, just nothing but low-paying service jobs, our average salary in the 15,000 job openings right now is $64,000. This is registered nurses. We've got $1.5 billion of healthcare infrastructure coming out of the ground in the next couple of years, including a new children's hospital, which will really advance our standing in the healthcare area. The other big areas are software engineers, cybersecurity folks, and of course we already have the 5th most cybersecurity jobs in the country. We think the Denver, Colorado Springs corridor, and particularly Colorado Springs because of our military, academia, and private sector synergy down here, will be the center of probably one of the 3 largest cybersecurity hubs in the country. So let me move to going forward. A couple of things I think we need to emphasize in the next couple of years. Number one, we need to act on a vision of how we're going to deal with the homeless among us. And I think we've got a pretty good consensus on a campus sort of situation at the rescue mission as the appropriate way to go. The larger cities that appear to deal with this the best develop a campus that has comprehensive substance abuse, mental health services, has a progression of housing so that people can move from low barrier housing to more permanent. And as you know, Norwood's just agreed to build I can't remember the terminology, but the permanent supported housing, which as people progress through and show they're able to be housed on a permanent basis, that availability. This is about a $13–14 million campus that's proposed. They're building the first phase right now, which will be low barrier shelter beds. Those will be open November 1st or November 10th. In time for the winter, we will have about 500 shelter beds total for the winter this year, which is the best situation we've been in a long time. The Catholic Charities has agreed, once that is up and they have a day center at the rescue mission, they will limit their noontime meal to family services only. And the chronically homeless will eat, the noontime meal will be at the campus. And they will convert the Marion House to primarily family-oriented services. They will continue to do immigration services and legal aid services at that location. A lot of cooperation. We're just, I think, tonight we're dedicating some new beds at Salvation Army. As you know, Salvation Army are typically what we call high